Testing, testing. There we go. That should be much better. I can hear a little bit of it. Yay. I'll put volume to 2. All right. So first off, I want to see if my microphone is working before we actually get into it. Back to note better. All right. Better. All right. Do I echo? Or am I, can you actually hear me at this point? I have, and echo. Oh, that sounds good. Good. Well, then let's talk about The Mandalorian. This is the, for those who were not with us live, this is attempt number 4 at actually getting this live stream going. So certainly thrilled that we actually were able to do it. Chewbacca, who is in our chat, hello, how are you doing? Thanks so much for being here. Chewbacca was one of our early 60-second recollection winners here on this channel. He was in our Star Wars special episode back on May the 4th, and I believe to date, I think you are still the record holder for our top spot of the entire first year of 60-second recollection. So that's super, super exciting. So we will have to have you back and see if you can top your own score, since nobody else apparently can. If you think you can, you got some Star Wars knowledge or Disney knowledge, this is my shameless plug. Drop me a line, ridetheteacups@gmail.com. Let me know you want to play. We'll get you in challenging Brian's score. But anyway, let's stop talking about our channel and start talking about this guy's channel. So Mandalorian, we have a lot to go over on this one, and it went, we are all over the place. So first off, this episode, after an episode 2 that didn't really advance the plot much at all, I think it was better than people gave credit for, but yeah, no, as far as plot advancement, we got little tiny nuggets. This one basically set the arc for the entire rest of the season, and beyond rumors and speculation, we actually know where we're going this time. So that is incredibly exciting. Just to give a little bit of a recap on what it is that happened during the episode, Mando is delivering fishy to her husband, who is on, I don't know if the planet is actually, I don't think the planet was Mon Cal, but it is a planet that's inhabited with lots of Mon Calamari and has they land on a fishing dock. And the delivery gets made, and yay, fishies are very happy with whatever babies were left that poor Yoda didn't take out. The child, however you want to call it. I'm calling him Baby Yoda, and you can all deal with it. But Mando needs to meet more Mandalorians. It's been his goal basically all season, and so here we go again. So he gets set out on a fishing boat, which conveniently takes him several hours out in the middle of the ocean, out in the middle of nowhere, where instead of having Mandalorians, they decide they want his valuable Beskar armor. So they basically feed the child to a big, huge monster that lives in the bottom of their boat. Hang on a second. And when they do, Mando immediately dives in. They shut the gate over the top, and now they are trapped. Basically, we're in Rancor territory, right? So you get fed to absolutely invincible monster with no possible chance of escape, and you need to survive. So we saw this with Luke. We've seen it in a lot of different sea. The Sarlacc of the Sea, yeah, that actually looks about right too, with the way the visuals were done. So Mando jumps in, and they're after that poor armor. They don't even seem to care about the child, or don't know what it is, or don't know what to do with it. They just want the Beskar. And so conveniently, out of nowhere, 3 Mandalorians drop down to his rescue, take out everybody else on the ship, and get him out. As soon as he comes out, he is greeted with being called brother by these other Mandalorians. He tells them the child's inside, and one of the other ones just immediately jumps in into where the big, huge creature belly is, just with no second thoughts about it. So let's just start off by saying Mando finally feels a sense of community and belonging that we have not seen since his covenant in season 1. These guys are all very much on the same page, clearly the real deal. They know how being a Mandalorian works. and they're working together just immediately, even though they haven't actually seen each other before. And Mando is clearly very happy with where he's at, until they take off their helmets right in front of him. This didn't go terribly well for the Marshal. It looks like it's not going to go terribly well for these other people. At least he's outnumbered this time. Immediately goes, "Where did you get your armor? You took off your helmet." And they just are. So yeah, they are jerks. But they take off their helmets right there in front of him. And he is not terribly pleased about it. Where'd you get your armor? And the leader, and we'll get to names and who everybody is in a minute, but the leader just says, "This armor has been in my family for 3 generations. I was on Mandalore during the Purge and the battle, fighting for our kind. I've been there. I've walked the whole journey. I am the real deal, and you are a child of the Watch." And Mando is suddenly seeing a lot more Mandalorian lore than he has ever heard before in his entire life. So the Watch is the sect, almost a cult, of Mandalorians who insist on, among other things, never taking off your helmet or being seen by others. And so we're kind of, what we're doing is, if we're fourth walling a little bit, what we're doing is we're explaining why some Mandalorians are seen taking off their helmets and some never, ever, 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 ever do. And so that's what's trying to be explained here. Kind of in the same way where the entire movie of Rogue One explains why the Empire left, a death shot into the Death Star. We're explaining why some Mandalorians take off helmets and some don't. And that's fine. It's a thing. Realizing which plot holes are later and trying to fill them is a thing. It happens. So that's fine. So he goes off. He is not terribly pleased that they have taken off their helmets, even with the explanation. And he leaves them to it, and meets up with the Karen's brother, who he meets in a dark alley late at night. "You killed my brother. I don't think you understand how much trouble you're in." And Mando finds himself wildly outnumbered, and down come 3 Mandalorians to his rescue again. And take everybody out. Leader goes off and says, "He didn't kill the brother, I did." And then they just start shooting it. It's really interesting when they do. Again, they all work as a unit, right? So all 4 Mandalorians, the 3 new ones plus Din, who I'm going to call Mando, all shoot all at the same time. Mandalorians are very good at killing. That is very well known, clearly proven here again. But Mando actually seems slow on the draw compared to these other 3. I thought that was very interesting. I am very sure that was intentional. A little bit slow on the pickup. So very cool. Basically just to show that these guys know what they're doing. This is not the Marshal from episode 1. These are highly trained, highly skilled, highly military-esque Mandalorians. So after saving his skin twice, and getting nothing in return for it, they finally ask, "Can we at least buy you a drink?" And go back to the bar and have a seat. Interesting that Mando didn't at least have a chat with the bartender, the innkeeper, who set him off to his death in the first place. But bygones be bygones, right? So we find out, for those of you who hadn't already figured out by the markings on her helmet, this is bo-katan. Bo-katan is someone that we have seen before if you watched your extra series, things like Star Wars Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, the animated series that exist out. We've seen her before. We know a lot about her. And before I start talking about her, I just want to talk about how the set dressers actually did. This is amazing. So if I can, not go to my bookmarks, but instead go here to my other tab. So this is the animated bo-katan from the series, and this is the live action bo-katan, and you should definitely check out your Google search to see this for yourself if you haven't already. But it is incredibly impressive how spot on it is. Just really, really amazing. Hey, little dude, how you doing? I got my son that wanted to jump in, but I can't have you on the camera unfortunately. But hey, if you want, do you want to be as part of the live stream? Can you go get your mask real quick? Get one of your masks from downstairs. You can come on in. That'd be fun. We may have a special guest joining us. That'd be cool. But yeah, an incredible likeness. I kind of suspected from the helmet markings, but as soon as she showed up, just knew immediately that is who we're talking about. So really, really cool to see just what a spot-on job they did with Bo-Katan's look inside of the series. Bo-Katan has worked with a sect of rebels from the Star Wars Rebels series. We have seen her with Ezra and with Sabine, and most importantly, with Ahsoka in previous battles on the Star Wars Rebels series. Definitely go back and watch your Star Wars Clone Wars and your Star Wars Rebels if you haven't already. You will definitely appreciate all of the extra knowledge that you're about to get that's about to be very useful in future episodes of The Mandalorian. So they go off and they decide to join up together because she can help him get Baby Yoda to other Jedi, but of course she needs his help first, which is basically the plot of what every episode of The Mandalorian so far. And so they decide to go hijack a ship. And this is really cool because, again, if you've seen Star Wars Rebels, the flow of events and the sequence of events for these specific rebels taking over an Imperial shipment of weapons, you've seen this exact flow of events before. It's really neat to be able to see it. I love the way, and they almost took it too far, but just in explaining how terrible the Empire is at doing basically everything it is that they do. And just how, I mean, they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, the equivalent of that anyway. And even when they're going up the elevator into where, you know, the room's full of stormtroopers are sitting there waiting for them. Like, that's a little door. All you got to do is aim at a door and pull a trigger when the elevator dings. Not that hard. And the Mandalorians, I mean, they don't even rush out, right? I mean, the elevator door opens, they just take their time, they start shooting ahead. And it's really, really amazing to, like I said, maybe they took it too far with just how terrible the Empire is at shooting anything. But it's really cool. So, all right. So I've got a little buddy here. Hi, little buddy. Appreciate it. We do ask him to wear a mask just for privacy's sake. So bear with me. But you have not seen The Mandalorian, have you, buddy? I know, yeah. So we got some spoilers. Our live chat people are saying hello to you. Can you wave and say hi? And you've seen that. That's Mr. Brian. He played games with us. Super cool. So, oh yeah, and he's saying the Imperial ship was also an amazing likeness from the animated to live action. Yes, I didn't have that Google search up, but yes, the whole thing was just really, really incredible. Hey, buddy.
Hi.
Hi. You don't have a mask on either, so I can't have you on the show. Well, we can't do up right now, buddy. So sorry. But maybe if mommy is around somewhere, maybe she can come help. It's a family show today. So, but
mommy and
but I do want my I do want my kids to have some privacy, so I do ask them to wear a mask. It's a lot easier than blurring out faces. But yeah, so we have these amazing likenesses. They go off on the ship. I love when they actually make their way through and the guy says, close the doors. And the stormtroopers are asking which doors? I'm like, all the doors. So we've switched roles from Luke doing that to 3PO, which is a very obvious callback to now the Imperials doing that to the stormtroopers. They shut all the door. We have them sealed in, sir. They never made it to the cargo area. Where are they sealed in? Like the control room. And I started laughing. And my poor wife is looking over at me like, I'm trying to listen to what they're saying. And like, you don't understand what's about to. And then the door opens because they locked them in the control room that they're sitting. What did you think was going to happen, guys? I mean, again, the Empire is just so bad at doing absolutely everything. Can you take little one, please? Thank you very much.
Mask.
Nope. If he has a mask, he can be on. But we don't want to say any names. Thank you very much. So we just want to make sure we're protected. But yeah, it was, I mean, what did you think was going to happen? Of course you get blown out to sea. At least you weren't out in space yet, right? I mean, come on, man. And then he calls out for help. Moff Gideon is on the other end of the line and a surprise to basically no one. I like how they tried to conceal his face, like we didn't all know who the big Imperial bad guy was going to be talking to, right? But a lot of things are coming into play at this point. Oh, and then just to satisfy our recap, Gideon says, like, look, they took your whole ship except the bridge. Like, you're not getting reinforcements. You need to fix this problem, and you know how to do it. And so our captain, who I'm pretty sure was unnamed, right? We didn't have a name for the captain. Just decides to shoot both of his other officers, take the ship down. And here's a fun lesson. You remember, as soon as the rebels, the Mandalorians, that's going to be hard to stop saying after watching Star Wars Rebels. The Mandalorians take all of the ship. He had them climb immediately, even though they weren't supposed to. And now he's trying to down the ship. Well, if you just followed the harbor rules and stayed low when you were supposed to, you'd have won. Just throwing it out there. You had too much altitude, and they had enough time to reverse the course and save the ship and all of their lives with about that much room to spare. If you just stayed low, you wouldn't have had as far down to dive. Mandalorians and Mando would have died. Season over, series over, good guys are gone. Empire wins, gets their weapons in order to rebuild the Empire. Maybe the new trilogy goes a very different direction, but it can't all because you didn't follow the rules. So parents, make sure your kids are aware it's super important to follow the rules at all times, even when you think it's good not to. So just throwing that out there. But anyway, so the Mandalorians, of course, do take over the ship. They do survive the fast descent, courtesy of some heroics from Mando and that incredibly invincible Beskar armor that he's wearing, which takes lots of shots. It is undoubtedly not so shiny and perfect anymore after that little maneuver of him diving out into all the gunfire. And they take over the ship. Bo-Katan does take out the captain and says, does he have it? And finally names what we all knew she was going to name, the Darksaber. And that is clearly something that that's her next step, is to get the Darksaber. We all kind of suspected that ever since the moment that it was revealed in the end of season 1. We knew the Darksaber was going to definitely come back and say things, and we had an idea of a few characters that we might be seeing. Bo-Katan is one. For those who are also up on your Rebels, we are also expecting to see Sabine sometime soon. And of course, at the end of the episode, Bo-Katan sends Mando off to go meet Ahsoka and tells him where she is. Hold your thumb in that. We're going to come back to that in a minute. But she sends Mando off to Ahsoka. Let me move my camera a little bit there. Really interesting turn of events. She invites Mando to come continue to fight the battle to get Mandalore back under Mandalorian control, and he can't because he's been quested with this super important thing, and it's more important. But the offer's open. Anyone who thinks they've seen the last of Bo-Katan in this series you're wrong. We are definitely going to see more of her again. She is far from done. We are also going to see Sabine, and we're apparently going to see Ahsoka. So Mando goes back, takes the child from the fishy ladies where he left him. Conveniently, their tadpoles have hatched at this point. Mando quickly takes the child before he can eat any of the rest of their children, and they go off on their journey off to Ahsoka. There's a lot of tentacle eating in this episode too, just throwing that out there. Super gross. Baby Yoda has really gone out of his way to look very, very gross this episode. So let's get back to Ahsoka Tano. So those who are in the dark, and I don't know how many of you that is, Ahsoka is the one and only apprentice of Anakin Skywalker before turning to the dark side. Anakin had an apprentice. If you watch the animated movie Star Wars: The Clone Wars, you will see that introduction. And she's generally the main character in almost all of the Star Wars Clone Wars animated series, which is amazing. And you need to go watch all 9 episodes on Disney Plus right now, maybe right after this chat. That's going to be your Saturday. Watch it all. That'll be your weekend. There's a lot. It's outstanding, and you will really enjoy it. But yeah, Ahsoka was Anakin's apprentice, and she actually got kicked out of the Jedi Order for a crime that she was framed for and did not commit. She later cleared her name. They invited her back, but they turned on her so quickly. She didn't feel safe and secure with the Jedi anymore because, I mean, they turned on her on a dime. And it was all politics, but she left. She walked out. And at the time, we all kind of knew, fourth wall breaking. That's because we all know the big purge is coming, and they wanted to get a little bit more use out of Ahsoka. And so they kicked her out of the Jedi. She didn't return, so she's not in the Jedi archives when Darth Vader goes on his big hunting spree. However, if you've been watching your, yes, no civility, only politics. That's exactly right. Welcome to 2020. Anyway, it's among other things with 2020. But last time we saw Ahsoka, I believe, and I could be mistaken. Let me know if I am mistaken. I am fairly sure the last time we saw Ahsoka was in a one-on-one duel against Darth Vader, where she was trying to help the other characters escape and get out. She didn't know Darth Vader's identity was Anakin until she actually cracked open a part of his helmet and saw his eyes. And they went into a duel, which we all presume was to the death. Look, the Purge is coming. She's not in the original trilogy. Everybody knew at the time that Ahsoka's got to go one way or another. We didn't see her die, but we know that Darth Vader survives the fight. So, we presume that was the end of Ahsoka. Not so, apparently. Well, we'll see, right? We'll see. But the other spoiler is that the casting for Ahsoka has actually been done. So apparently we are going to... You taking off, buddy? All right. Well, thanks for coming. Hopefully you're not taking off because we've got a little bit more to go off with Ahsoka. So we'll see if we find like the ghost of Ahsoka or the memory of Ahsoka, or if she's actually there. They are going to have some serious explaining to do because after the Battle of Yavin, Luke Skywalker blew up the Death Star. Ahsoka clearly knows the name Skywalker. She clearly is entrenched with what the rebels are doing. And she doesn't show up for episodes 4, 5, and 6. Like, you've got some explaining to do because the time period of Mandalorian is after Return of the Jedi. You have some explaining to do as to why she didn't show up and how she actually survives to this point, if indeed that's what ends up happening. That's fine. I'm interested to see your explanation, but I'm going to be kind of hesitant on this explanation. We are also clearly going to see Sabine sometime soon. The whole progression of this entire season has been Mando finding other Mandalorians, which means we're basically going for the roster of the Star Wars Mandalorians that we know exist. So we found Boba Fett, we have found now bo-katan, and that leaves our short list down to, as far as I know, down to 3, right? So there's Fett, there's bo-katan, and there's Sabine. So like we know we're going to see her. We also know that bo-katan is going to go after the Darksaber. It's going to set off a great battle between Mandalorians and Imperials with Moff Gideon, who's holding that. It will be interesting to see an older Sabine because when we see Sabine, she's a Mandalorian from the Star Wars Rebels series, and she's very teenage. She's very colorful. She's all into painting and designs and things, and so I hope that she hasn't lost that. It was also very clear to see some of her. She started to mature as the show went on, as far as her decision makings and things. So hopefully we'll see even more of that. In an older Sabine that's that's aging. People age. That happens, right? So yeah, super exciting. I completely agree. That'll be really neat to see that. And I think that we will. I really do think that we will. I'm really interested to see where Ahsoka's actually been hiding out the entire time. I got my buddy back. I'm so excited. And yeah, so this episode leaves with Mando leading off to his next quest, where I'm sure he's going to find what he wants. But in order to get it, he has to help somebody with their current situation. The Darksaber is an artifact. You saw this in season 1. The end of season 1, Moff Gideon has it. It's basically a lightsaber, except in sort of a color like, blue, green, red, yellow, purple. It's black. It's solid black. It has the white outline, a little bit of a tip to the side, and that has been actually wielded by Sabine. So I'm really interested to find out how Moff Gideon got a hold of it. We've all kind of wanted to know that since we saw him with it. And of course, bo-katan is going to want it back so that she can basically do the takeover of Mandalore and reclaim it for Mandalorians. So lots of things, all of that is coming out in the future. We got all of that from this episode. So those of you who are a little frustrated that episode 2 didn't progress the plot, well, Merry Christmas. Here is the gift to you. We are officially progressed. We are well on our way. So we'll see what, yeah, I don't want to show that. Thank you. Don't need to get a copyright strike from Sony for their demo video of their blogger cam. But episode 4 is coming up next. I'll be very excited to see where Mando actually ends up. Couple of things as we go by. Episode 2 was very slow. You were one of the episode 2 haters. All right, so it was slow, but here's what we got out of episode 2. So let's recap the season so far. Episode 1, we've got the Marshal. We know we haven't seen the last of him. They set up, basically a I don't know if it was a peace treaty or a full on like we're gonna be friends now with the Tuscans and the humans, right? The Tatooinians, most Pelgans. But we know we've set up the treaty. We know we're going to see the Marshal again, based on how season 1 went. He called up all of his friends for the big finale. I expect the same thing here. So we'll see the Marshal again. Episode 2. First thing, Baby Yoda didn't help out with the Krat Dragon even a little. Baby Yoda didn't help out with the spiders even a little. Jon Favreau has specifically told you this show's name is called The Mandalorian. It is not called the Baby Yoda. It is not called the child. It's called The Mandalorian. Remember who is the main character and who is the side character, folks. That's big message from Jon Favreau straight to you, and that holds through on episode 3 also. I think he wanted to go out of his way to do that, and so showing Baby Yoda as a bit helpless and Mandalorian as just the incredibly awesome main character. That's something that we got out of episode 2. Other things we got out of episode 2 are the rebel pilots who are there. So we now see that we are squarely in, they're not rebels anymore, right? They're New Republic. So New Republic pirates. That's going to be hard to stop saying too. But New Republic is in charge, and everyone has to have a beacon. That's going to come back into play. We got that out of episode 2. We are going to see those Republic, I almost said rebel, Republic pilots again. That is not the last we have seen of them. We will definitely be seeing more of them. That's something that you get out of episode 2. And it's the start of, basically Mando needing a new ship, right? So, I mean, the Razor is in seriously bad shape. It's only getting worse. He's going to need something new. And what's going to be the big payoff? Episode 1, the big payoff was all of the cool new armor. Yes, because one of them is Dave Filoni, who is one of the producers, directors of the show, writers of the show. Forget exactly where it is that he lands, but yes, we know that Rebel pilots are there. That was not a random cast for that. So we'll see that. But yeah, so we're getting those things out of episode 2. So like it's subtle, and it may have been a little filler, and maybe there were better ways to do it. I don't want to show that, buddy, please. Thank you. But season 2 was not a waste of your time, right? So like we got some cool stuff out of it. Also, while we're talking about that, are we going to see Ahsoka in episode 4 or episode 5? I kind of think 5. So go check out your list of directors, and you'll get a big clue that we may not see Ahsoka until episode 5. That's my guess. We'll see. But basically, the dude who actually created Ahsoka is going to be directing episode 5, and so that seems like a sweet return. Anybody, we don't want a flashlight in it too. You're going to blind poor Mr. Brian and anybody else who's watching. So we know where we've kind of been. We know what the future holds. Really excited to see what happens throughout the rest of this season. But yeah, I think I lost my train of thought on the payoff. So season 1 payoff was the new armor, whole new suit of armor, new character, lets him do new things, all kinds of cool stuff. What's going to be the payoff for 2? I think it's going to be a new ship. Mando needs a new ride, a new set of wheels, a new set of engines, whatever you want to call it. And I think that's going to be our big episode 2 payoff as far as furthering Mando's abilities and things that he can do. I may even have a fake beacon. Wow. It may even find a new beacon or a fake beacon so that he can wander around and get through the Old Republic the way that he needs to, since they made such a big deal of it in episode 2. Super important. I'm spitballing here a little bit, but that's my guess. Those things are going to be important. So what did you think? Did you like this one? I'm really interested in your opinion, especially Mr. Episode 2 hater. Did we like episode 3 and kind of confirm a lot of these different rumors and things that we had? Let me know. Super interested in finding out what you thought of it. Really interested to see if any of my predictions for the rest of the season are going to go the way that I think they're going to go, or if they're going to continue to surprise me. I really liked 3, one of my faves. Good. I am glad. Well, I mean, of 3, right? One of your favorites of 3. No, it was a great episode. Really neat to up there with 7 of the last season. I did. Yeah, I can go with you on that one. I liked 1. I think that 2 is going to be important later, and I really liked 3. So let me know if you completely disagree. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. We will see you next time we talk more Mandalorian. Come and join us again. Also, later tonight, there is another channel. I'll link to it in the description after this. Another channel called Tom Does Disney. Let me see if I can actually find it here on my stream. And he has another conversation for The Mandalorian going on Saturday nights. He gets quite a bit more people than I do, and I will be there. So, so definitely check him out. I'm trying so hard to look him up right now, but oh my goodness, YouTube makes it so hard sometimes. Let's see, Tom Does Disney. Here we go. He is another just Star Wars nerd, which means we're best friends. Let's copy that link. Great. Let's copy that link. There we go. Throw it into the live chat here. I'll make sure it's in the description too. But he'll be on later tonight. He promises, talking Mandalorian, and we'll have the discussion to keep going. So thanks so much for joining us. We will see you next time we ride the Teacups. There is a new episode of 60-Second Recollection coming this Tuesday. Watch for that. And I am planning on making some new Disneyland treats. So you're going to see some Mickey candied apples coming from me in the next few weeks. So watch for that. Thanks so much for being here. We will see you next time. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. Later.